Hello and welcome to the Week 2 version of the Monster Pod here on thelines.com. Steven Anders, Matt Brown, joined this week by Connor Allen of 4 for 4. You got to go check out their great work over there. Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs in a very, very interesting battle out there in the betting market. So 5.5 to 6 right now in favor of the Chiefs at home over Cincinnati. 47.5 to 48 is the total. Steven, this thing got to 6.5. They bet it. They took it. They said, okay, Cincinnati's not that bad. It goes all the way down to 5.5. Then it gets people say, oh, no, that's too much. The Chiefs are too good. Bets back up again. It gets through 6 again, back down to 6 again, back down to 5.5 at one of the books, 2 of the books as we sit right now, but some 6s out there. So there is a battle going on with some groups out there who say Cincinnati's not as bad as we saw in week 1. And another group out there saying like, well, it doesn't really matter. The Chiefs are just that good and they're going to pound them this week. It's very, very interesting to watch this line move and dance all over the place. I can't bet Cincinnati until they get fully out there and healthy. And so I tend to lean to the people that are backing the Chiefs in this, but I don't know. What say you?
Matt, don't you think this battle in the market is another example of, the spreadsheet and the number crunchers who will bet it if it's a certain number on the Bengals side and the ones that are using their eyes a little bit more on the Chiefs side?
Sure. Well, I mean, so if people are holding steady to their power ratings, like most likely somebody entered the season with the Chiefs at 1 or 2, and they probably had Cincinnati, whatever, 7, 8, whatever, something like that. And yeah, so when it got to 6.5, they're going, that's just too much. Like, I'm not going to, because a lot of these guys won't adjust their power ratings at all without major injuries, and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it certainly could be just, hey, this is too much. I had them, if the Chiefs are 1 and Cincinnati is 6 or 7 or whatever, 6.5 points is just too much.
Yeah, I bet Chiefs minus 5.5. Here's why. I think you have to downgrade the Bengals when they don't have T. Higgins. Looks like he's not going to play. I don't think Tyler Boyd is walking through that door. He's on a different team this year. They lost DJ Reader to kind of hold up that defensive line. So now the Chiefs can pound the rock with the strength of their offensive line being the middle with Isaiah Pacheco running through that guard center gap. So I think the Chiefs, I have to upgrade. Clearly, they have more explosiveness on offense, adding Xavier Worthy and maybe Marquise Brown comes back this week. And we know, I know they were a toe away from blowing that lead on Thursday Night Football. They also were up 10 in the fourth quarter. And they had every opportunity to win that game. They did cover. So you can look at it and say they got lucky at the end, but also, they were dominant for 3 quarters in that game against a very good Baltimore team. So I'm more of the belief that until the Bengals are fully formed, until they actually show us, then I can't upgrade them. If anything, I have to downgrade them a little bit with the missing pieces, and I have to upgrade Kansas City. So even though this is only a couple of points different than when they played with Jake Browning last year against the Chiefs in Kansas City, I think the Chiefs offense is better, and I don't think there's going to be many games the rest of the season where the Chiefs are going to be less than a touchdown favorite at home. That's how I'm kind of all in on Kansas City at this point, to the point where I even bet Andy Reid 50-1 coach of the year this week, because I think there's a chance they could go 15-2. The market says they're less than 4-1 to go 15-2 this year in an alt win total. If they go 15-2, you can't tell me Andy Reid's not at least a finalist for coach of the year at 50-1.
T. Higgins, 2 straight DNPs on Wednesday and Thursday. So, yeah, not looking good for him. Chris Jenkins is a depth on that defensive line. You said already down defensive line. He double DNP, so DNP on Wednesday and Thursday. So they could be down even more guys there on the Cincinnati side. On the Kansas City side, doesn't look like Hollywood Brown's going to make it back either. DNP Wednesday, Thursday there for him. So does that open up more for Xavier Worthy, Connor? This was something I was trying to, on a couple of the shows I've been on, arguing that people maybe should take at least a little bit of caution. Yes, they were flashy plays, and yes, he scored touchdowns, but it was on 3 touches. It was on 3 touches. 1 was a blown coverage as well. So it's like he didn't go out in game 1 and earn a ton of targets, but with Hollywood Brown not being out there, maybe he does here in week number 2. I think that's another thing that I'm going to be monitoring is like, what kind of role are they going to do with Worthy? Are they going to force feed him? Are they going to force touches into his hands as long as Hollywood Brown isn't out there?
Yeah, I don't know if he was ever a targeter too, like even in college. So like I think that's something that's is still kind of TBD, but may not even matter. That's kind of one of the issues is like you go back and forth because if you're playing with Patrick Mahomes on a good offense with other receivers who are helping you get open, like It's just like that's kind of stuff I go back and forth on. In this spot specifically, though, you brought up a great point about the matchup up front. This is my biggest edge of the game. It would be the Kansas City running game against this Cincinnati run defense. Like, we just saw a New England team that their offensive line stinks. They don't have a good they have no threat of a passing game. And this Bengals team could not stop the run. Like, they tried, they stacked the box even plenty. Ramondre Stevenson's still in a great game. Now you have Isaiah Pacheco, you have a real offensive line, and you have a team that you can't stack the box. If you stack the box against Patrick Mahomes, like, he'll throw over 1,000,000 yards. Like, imagine, like, I would love to see them try. You know what I mean? And that's fun. I just think that's hilarious to think about, that it's even a possibility, but they're not going to do that. So it's like, I think that Isaiah Pacheco has a massive game. I think that he crushes them for 100+ rushing yards here. I would lean Kansas City. Like, it's just tough because I like Andre Yoshivas as a player, but he's not he should not be on the field for 100% of snaps as the clear number 2 target. Like, I think he's fun, like a fun number 3 who's going to have some big games once T. Higgins comes back, but not this. So I have a tough time with it here. I'm on Kansas City rushing overs for Pacheco. And then maybe like a longest reception over for Worthy, but I don't know if I'm touching his regular prop.
I like that angle. I'm actually gonna join you on the Pacheco stuff, because I think also we could get to a point in the third quarter where they're up 17 in this game, and it's just like Pacheco's just getting every handoff and getting every single look and things like that. There are brighter days ahead for Cincinnati if you do have futures on them out there. It is Commanders next week. It's Panthers the week after that, so we will at least get a couple of breather games there for the Cincinnati team, but I don't think this week is the week in which they find everything and get healthy. So I'm with you guys there on that. Guys, had a pretty good week 1, so hopefully we can continue on here in week number 2. Connor, do appreciate you being here as well. Of course, check out their great work over at 4for4. Awesome stuff over there, not just from a betting standpoint, from fantasy standpoint, DFS standpoint. Be sure and take in all of their great work. We do everything free here, so please hit that subscribe button. We'll be here all season for you. And if you head to lines.com, upper right-hand corner is the Discord, and that is also free, where you can go in and chit-chat about things all season long in all of the sporting betting markets out there. For Connor, for Steven, I'm Matt. Good luck on all your week 2 bets.